look at my daughter Frida now, and I see things that she does with music that I did. So if we wanted to talk about writing songs, like I started doing that when I was little, and it's so fun to watch her just like make up little songs. And my grandma always used to say about me, I know Sarah's happy when she's humming or singing, and that's Frida. She does the same thing. Yeah. In fact, I was home with her today. We had this snow day, and I was home with her, and she was in the other room playing with her toys, and she's just singing. And
Aww.
yeah, and she loves to get on her microphone and sing. And so, I mean, I did that as well. When I was a kid, I would just always I can remember, like, I had cassette tapes with my tape recorder where I would just like hit record and start singing and making up songs. So yeah, it was
very
fun.
Cute. Mm-hmm. She's a mini you.
Yeah, yeah.
And she looks a lot like you too. Did you look like that when you were little?
When I look at her, I see a blend of Danny and I. I see her from like nose down me, like, and then she's got Danny's eyes. Lucky girl.
Yeah,
he's got beautiful eyes.
Nice eyes, yes.
But she's got that beautiful long curly hair, and like I had the Dorothy Hamill bowl cut. So
it's a mixture. Yes. Yeah. But she carries herself like you too. When I saw you guys walking away, it made me chuckle a little bit. It was cute. Just the other day, we ran into each other. So, so then you went to college and you majored in music in college. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I went to Hope College and I majored in music. I went there. Well, actually, I could go back a little bit. My senior year of high school, I knew, which I would consider myself very blessed to have known this, but I knew what I wanted to go to college to do. And my senior year, I had a student placement or whatever you want to call it, where like students can go over into a teacher's classroom and kind of observe the teacher. And I did that actually at Varellen Elementary School, which is funny because I wound up teaching at Varellen. That was my first job.
Oh, that is funny.
Yeah, but I knew in that moment...
Your life is very synchronistic.
I guess so. And I knew in that moment that I wanted to be an elementary music teacher. So I went to Hope College and I studied music with a focus on voice. And it was a struggle because when I went to Hope, I did not have a very strong music background other than my love for music, singing in choirs in high school and... doing like my band and stuff. But as far as it went with like the music theory and all that piece of it, I had a tutor for music theory all 4 years. And I struggle with rhythm because I struggle with math. And that's the same part of the brain.
Right.
So when I sit down to like sight read rhythm, it boggles me sometimes. Anyway, that's what I majored in, and I majored in music, and it was a challenge. And at one point, I remember my sophomore year, my vocal teacher said to me, she said, Sarah, I absolutely adore you, but sometimes because I majored in music education and I majored in elementary ed. And she said, sometimes I wonder if you should consider making music your minor and not majoring in it, because she said, I think you're a musician, but you may not have the musicianship. And I just remember
isn't that interesting?
Leaving that session with her in a vocal lesson and crying my whole walk back to my dorm. And also just kind of having this like self-talk, like, nope, I know what I want to do. And sometimes even recently when I question myself and I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing all these things? Or, I don't know if I could do that. I always dig back to that time when I said, dang it, I'm going to prove myself and I am going to graduate from college with a music degree. And I was just so headstrong. And they don't graduate, it's to my understanding, they don't graduate people with the music ed and the elementary ed, because I had like 9 to 10 classes a semester.
Wow.
And because I was doing music and education.
Right.
And so it was a high class load, and I was working like 2 jobs at the time. And I truly believe that's when I learned my time management and started doing things.
Right.
I just never stopped.
Well, you had no choice.
Yeah. But I persevered and Was able to get a job. Took 1 year off, and that wasn't by choice, but I long-term subbed, and I wound up getting a job here in Essexville Schools.
Excellent.
And I started out as a part-time music teacher my first year.
So how long have you been teaching now?
16 years.
16 years.
I know. It's funny that they hired me when I was 12.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
But, you know, the kids can relate to 12-year-olds.
Yes.
You were like Doogie Howser.
Yes.
The instruments were bigger than you, I'm sure.
No, but this is my 16th year of teaching.
That's amazing.
And I still love it. And I'm learning new things all the time. And I don't just teach music. I teach music, character education, and health.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, and I teach to young 5, kindergarten, and first grade. And so I look at it, I get to teach kids to love music, be good characters of their own life while thinking about being mindful of their health.
That's like a best case scenario all the way around. That is wonderful.
Yeah.
No wonder you're so happy.
Yeah, it's a good
And
gig.
this is their most formative year right now.
Oh my goodness.
Between 6 and 8.
Yes.
But 6 is prime, yes.
Yep, and I've been doing some new things to study about new ways to interact with children and talk to children. And it's just so powerful. And yeah.
So I like
more
that
at that
about
mindfulness
you too. You're
with
always
kids.
learning, right? That's very good.
Yep.
I like that. I really like you. I think you're a really good person. It's
I like you
nice
too.
to know you. It is. So, so when you got out of school and you came back here, what happened? What was the neck injury all about?
Oh goodness, that's a good question.
Thanks.
You know, when I was in college, I had this because I had 9 to 10 classes a semester. I had this really, really heavy backpack, and I always I could remember even before. When I was in high school, I can remember this need to always crack my back and crack my neck. And my dad would go, "Oh, why do you do that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it just feels better." And then in college, I had this ridiculously heavy backpack, and I started getting these shooting pains in my shoulder. I always thought, it was just
the heavy
backpack and the need to crack, and I would deal with
that. Made a rhyme.
Yeah, I did. Heavy backpack, need to crack. I'm a songwriter, and it just comes out.
I think it's a hit.
But I just let's see. I don't know, and I think just years of honestly, I think I had an injury that I didn't realize because. How it started, I don't know. But, I've done a lot of things through my life and fitness, but I don't even attribute it to that. Actually, I attribute the fitness to helping me because what happened was I was in Holland, Michigan at the beach in the summer. Frida was like 2 at the time, and I was like, I'm just going to run in quick, drive under, and get out. So I went about waist deep and dove in. I didn't hit my head, but I knew in the moment I wasn't deep enough, so I arched up really quick, and I got this zinging like I had been electrocuted, and I was standing in the water like, what was that? And then every time I went like that and put my head back, I would get this zing. And then I remember I was with my very best friend and her husband, and we were walking back up. It was it's at a beach in Holland where you have to go up some stairs. I can't think. Lake Town Beach it's called. And we had all these stairs to go back up. And I remember my buddy Chevron, his name's Chevron. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, that's a cool name.
He was like, Sarah, do you need me to carry something for you? And I was like, yeah, actually, I'm having this really weird thing. We got back to their house and it kept going. And I kept it going on like that. And this was in July or August that happened. I kept going on like that till about late November, and I was teaching my Crazy Kick classes, a class I had been teaching at the time, which is like a dance kickboxing class. And I thought, well, and I had been getting some physical therapy because it was and I was working out here at Basecamp too at the time. And finally they said, you really should get an MRI. And I didn't want the MRI because I was scared of the MRI. Well, little did I know that was the least of my worries. It turned out I had a herniated disc in my neck, and when I had arched my back, I think what had happened because of all those years of the weird pains, it just let loose. And what that zinging was, it hit my spine. And so every time I moved, and I was getting these sensations down my hands and numbness.
Yes.
So then I wound up having surgery, and this is where I'd say the fitness helped me, was because at my post-op, when I met with the doctor, he said, when I went in there to do that surgery, he goes, you are lucky you were as fit as you were, because those muscle fibers were holding that disc in place. He said, if that had gone any farther, you probably would have lost the use of your hands and arms. Like I was at the risk of paralysis. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Somebody was watching out for you.
Yep.
Wow. The good thing you went. Do you need water?
I'm okay. Well, I don't ever like to deny water.
I'll go get some for you.
Okay.
Or Sandy will. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.
Wow, that's quite a story.
Yeah, crazy. And that was, so my doctor, this is me and how I like to do things. My doctor called me and she said, we just got the results back from your MRI, and you are to not do any sort of physical fitness. And I had this whole New Year, fit you planned. And so I called her and I'm like, well, I'm supposed to teach Crazy Kick tomorrow. And then I have this New Year's thing. Can I do that? She's like, absolutely not. She's like, you're a fall risk. I'm like, what? So,
wow.
And then after my surgery, it was 6-month recovery. No cardio, no impact. Beth was like, oh my gosh, I think about the things you were doing here at Basecamp with that injury before we knew, you know. But actually, Basecamp, I'm going to give a shout out to Beth, because when I was able to come back, I could do low impact and modify things. And Beth's at the time had her it was almost like a TRX class, and there were just other things and modifications she did for me that really helped with Beth's knowledge of being a nurse. I mean, Beth worked in a neurosurgeon unit, so I felt in very good hands coming back at that halfway year point. But I couldn't pick up my daughter. She was 3. I couldn't pick up my daughter for 3 months because I had a weight restriction. And so that was a journey. Yeah. Yes. That was in 2016, spring of 2016. And that's when Danny started opening Hampton Auto, the new one.
Well, it was meant to be. What can we say?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure glad you're okay.
Yeah, me too. That was a pretty serious ordeal, really. And honestly, you can see my scar here.
I do see it.
But honestly, the recovery rate from that, and it truly is a blessing. I talk to people who've had this injury and they did not have the success that I have. They still have a lot of pain. And I just really feel blessed that I've recovered. Sometimes I forget I had the surgery. Nice. My main concern was there is a very small percentage of a permanently raspy voice. So as a singer, knowing that a doctor was going in to move my vocal cords to do work, that scared me more than anything, because it's my job.
You could have worked around it.
Yeah.
It might have been good raspy.
Yeah, maybe it's a little more Janis Joplin cover tunes.
Yeah.
Start singing some Led Zeppelin. Yeah.
Some BB King, maybe.
Guns N' Roses.
Well, just keep that in mind.
Yeah,
if that ever happens.
They do say as I get older, my voice will, get lower and lower. So, I just have things to plan for the future. Yeah.
If you need to try them out, you just come on in. We'll pick them.
Okay.
So you said that you have some new songs that
I
you
do.
Just wrote.
Yeah.
You want to sing one?
Sure.
You want to give us some background first?
Yeah, actually, I have one that I will dare greatly to play, because actually that's the book I'm listening to right now, Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. Yes. But I will dare greatly to play a song for you that I have played for very few people. And I would say that it's not totally done. It's done being written, but I think there's more that could be brought to the table. I think when I bring it into a recording studio sometime, which I hope to, that more will be added to it. But I play this song with my friend Julia Ross, and she actually is a drummer. That's her first instrument. And so when we were practicing the other night, what's fun is she plays with me, but she plays acoustic guitar, sometimes electric. But on this particular song, we just worked it out where she flips the guitar over and puts it in her lap and plays the back of her guitar like a drum.
That even looks cool.
Oh, it does look cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is such a cool shtick.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I'm liking it.
It sounds like I don't know if you've seen that box drum. It's called a cajon. You sit on it and it makes different sounds. If you've ever seen someone play that, but that's almost the sound that it has.
Nice.
And, just that alone added so much to this song. But the song, Actually, the title is still kind of in the works. I was going to call it You Were Meant for Me, and then Julia's like the Jewel song, and I was like, yeah maybe I should rewrite the title. So I'm working on that. So this is kind of a song in the works. Okay. But it's actually Danny and I's story, so that's why I thought it would be appropriate to play it since I'm highlighting Hampton Auto Repair. Yes. So I'll need a minute to grab my guitar and
I'll talk about our